here, and for today's session, we are reviewing a Silver Ana player. We've seen their Mercy before in previous videos, so let's see how the Ana goes. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit. Or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, all that good stuff.
Soon we will see if the hypotheses are correct.
Oh, this might have been bronze. I'll have to go back and double check that. I'm not sure why my brain autopiloted to silver. That's okay. That's okay. It'll be correct in the video title at the end. If you're watching it live, it might not be. That's fine. Those aren't dangerous shots for you to take.
Take your medicine.
You can pay attention to your Hanzo back there? Okay. Was the silver MMR, but your profile was bronze, so they're both right.
I've seen you. We're going to live.
Not having a shot when you're in spawn. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I don't love that nade, because that nade was never really going to get anyone. Maybe you thought someone was going to be right here. Maybe that was the thought, but we'd like to be throwing our nades expecting to hit somebody a little harder with them. And I knew that this D.Va went into here. I knew that this wasn't really going to get anyone. Maybe you meant to throw this deeper, but even so, I don't really want to throw this deeper at a barrier. So, not a big deal.
I will keep you here.
Right idea. You could have properly predicted that he was going to retreat in the other direction. So if we look at this, here you are. You're trying to keep him up. I don't like that you're just floating here. Like, just floating in this opening isn't helping you. You might want to get by the cart to break line of sight on the Bastion while still hitting your Reinhardt. You might want to get up here, but you don't want to just dance in the open here. You see that? Nah, that's fair. And this is the spot you dump a nade through. You just dump a nade right through here. That's fine. You don't need to keep fighting. You dumped your nade. That was all you needed to do. You do not need your follow-up shots. It's actually more interesting to go, hey, what does my team need over here? Remember, your weapon does more healing to hitting teammates, and your hitbox for hitting teammates is more generous than it does damage. So from both an accuracy and a raw number standpoint, which both are going to lead to more output, you do more aiming at your teammates than aiming at the opponents. Now, if you see something that you can immediately finish off, sure, but even though you hit this nade, which is useful because this nade makes this Sigma uncomfortable, helps your team round this corner, you aren't going to be finishing this Sigma anytime soon. You're just enabling your team to push him, enabling your team to finish him, forcing these guys to go, oh, we don't like this, he's going to surrender some space, and then his team is potentially going to surrender some space. Your follow-up shots aren't really useful. The only reason you'd want to stay here is if you think there's still a sleep to be found on the Bastion, which there could be, but you'd have to scoot further left for it. Oh, no. Okay, so again, if you were thinking after this, I'm doing this, he's backing off, this is a long time to not look at your team, but it can be worth it for dealing with a threat as big as a Bastion, but this is a sleep. This is a sleep dart right here that he can't dodge. You sleep him to get him out of turret form. It'll take him time to retransform into that turret. It lets your team advance, etc. Now, you don't know he's this weak that your Hanzo's going to finish him, so you don't shoot him, you sleep him. But this is fine. So again, this is like a nice offensive angle. You can heal people from here. You can peek this and take your offensive ability usage. You can heal people from here. You can scope this and take an offensive shot. This is how you want to play. This is good. Okay, this is pretty aggressive. Unfortunate. No, you don't re-peek. So you don't have enough value that you can get on this angle anymore is the thing. Like, you missed your sleep dart. You don't have nade yet. You're not willing to stay here until you get nade back. And generally, you wouldn't expect that this is someone that you're going to threaten to leave or hurt or eliminate because he's a tank and he simply has too much damage. You could put pressure on him, but you'd put pressure on him from main with your team when you can heal your team. Here, you can't heal your team. You can't do much for your team. Like, yes, you can heal your team, but it's so easy to force you out from being able to heal your team. So we don't really like this. The only justification for staying here extra is to get this nano, because maybe you're going to go, I just need to hit an offensive shot to get the nano, and then I'll throw it at my Reinhardt or something. But this isn't amazing. Coming over here to try to get the burst of value with ability, 1 or 2 abilities, maybe a follow-up shot, fine. The follow-up shot wouldn't be under the Sigma. Again, hitting a shot on the Sigma isn't really enough. You could try and put a shot on the Ana, 2 shots on the Ana, that could be pressure, but the Sigma staying here for that, where it's hard to heal your team, isn't great. You've left a lot of the healing right now to the Mercy in general this match, and that's okay when you're doing things that are as high priority as removing a Bastion. But remember, you're really good at healing. You pump out giant heal numbers. Now, it's possible that she's just going to be a heal bot and heal no matter what, in which case you're forced a bit more into this aggressive style, but I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen you can't get the heals off because she's robbing them all yet. It's fine. It doesn't matter that you missed the sleep dart.
My ultimate is ready.
Like,
Get in there,
coming
and
at
I
you,
will
you
boost
should
you.
still go for it. It was a reasonable sleep to go for. There's no issue whatsoever there. You just missed it. Whatever.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay, I don't love this, but if you're going to peek and immediately sleep dart the Bastion, I'm good. Okay.
The pain.
Okay. You can't peek this again. You simply can't. In fact, you could totally justify walking back here, grabbing the health pack, and supporting your team from behind again. These aggressive off angles are okay to get your abilities off. This one wasn't amazing, but again, Bastion and them having Bastion is letting me letting me give the thumbs up for getting a little more aggressive with what you're getting away with than I normally would. Getting aggressive on angles, good. Getting way in front of your team on angles, not quite so good as Ana, but acceptable, again, because sleeping the Bastion is so important. But you'd like to then get yourself back into a place where you can support your team more from a behind them or side of them angle. And here, this team might push back up before your team is to the side of you. You don't really want to be standing in front of your team sniping shots here. Like, it's fine, again, because you have Flux going, that's a pretty credible distraction, but this would have felt much more comfortable from a little bit further behind your team. No.
Get in there.
Fine. I don't think you need that, like, at all. Yeah, I don't want you up here. I don't want you up here because I don't want you, generally speaking, like, you just don't need to be here in the open right now, but he definitely doesn't need that nano. Maybe that nano is going to allow him to get additional staggers that he wouldn't otherwise get, but you just got some good eliminations. You just won this team fight. Your team is going to get the bridge. I don't need to invest more in this fight. We just won with Flux. If they start using ults, maybe we answer, but I don't need to invest more right now. Is supporting the Sigma with heals during his Flux worth that peak? It didn't look like she could support it from the payload. Potentially, yeah, potentially. But even if you can't support it from the payload, you can scoot up a little from the payload. You can be like, okay, I'm going to scoot here, etc., as opposed to out here. Like, it's not the end of the world. Supporting the Sigma with the peak, or even going for the follow-up shot on someone with the peak so that an extra person gets eliminated, those are perfectly reasonable, yes.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Okay, where are you going?
Hello.
I am moving the payload.
Go. I'll keep you here.
Interesting. I'm waiting for them to run a flanker and punish you for how aggressive you're being, but
Get back in the fight.
don't do it. Oh, you're giving yourself away.
Lights out.
Okay. Do you see that? Do you hear that? Okay.
Get me. I will keep you here. Feeling sleep.
Good. Okay. Again, you look at this.
I will keep you here. Feeling
You
sleepy?
slept the Rhine, no problem. You nade the Rhine, no problem. I'd have preferred to nade a little to the left where you had a real chance of getting your Sigma as well, but lean it towards the Rhine. So put your nade like right here where you're definitely going to hit the Rhine and you're probably going to hit your Sigma. That's what I'd like to do with this. But
Healing enhanced.
you do get your Sigma because your Sigma moves forward. Your next move is to heal your Sigma, not to finish this Rhine. This Rhine is purple. This Rhine is going to get eliminated. You do more heals per shot than damage per shot, and your team is clearly going to eliminate this Rhine, but there's also a Bastion shooting at your team. So heal your Sigma. Heal your Sigma. Heal your Sigma. Wait for it. Okay. No, your Widow's safe. Your Widow is actually safe here. The Rhine needs your heals more than the Widow does right now. And you know that. You can recognize that, wait a second, this Widow is tucked back in cover, etc. The only person who could shoot at her would be the D.Va. And honestly, if the D.Va really starts shooting at her, I can pivot and heal her, or I can step in front and body block for her until I can heal her. Your Rhine is in more danger. Yeah, and you lost your Rhine because of it.
The pain is coming.
Okay. You trying to change the angle again? Is this to hit a sleep so that your Widow can get a limbs? Your Widow already had a clean shot to get a limbs.
Get back in the fight.
Good check. Okay. I don't know why he let you get that sleep on him.
Go. I'll keep you healed.
Again, don't love that nade, and if you did want that nade, it needed to be deeper. So, heal shot good,
Go. I'll keep you healed.
but we wanted to get that nade a little
Eli.
further. Maybe you were trying to get it further and she scooted into it. But people's hitbox for exploding your nades, allies' hitbox for exploding your nades is pretty big. So you have to adjust with that in mind. You can't stop him. There's nothing you can do to him until your sleep is back. Why are you here? Why are you leaning this way rather than leaning this more defensive direction that your Rhine is clearly backing to, that you'll be able to tunnel heal him? You'll just be able to safely tunnel heal him here in a moment, whereas opposed to here, you can be slower to get on healing him.
Watching your back. My ultimate is ready.
Yeah, your instincts are very, I want to hurt the enemy as opposed to support my team. And again, I was giving you room to do that when there was a Bastion on the other team, because removing the Bastion threat, you simply cannot out-heal their team, and you have to solve the Bastion. And Sleep is very good for that, and Nade is okay for that. Now you're continuing to play this in a very aggressive, I'm interested in what's in front of my team. I'm off-angled so hard that I'm wide in front of my team. Like a McCree could off-angle in the spots you're playing. A Soldier could off-angle in the spots you're playing. A Tracer wouldn't even be wildly out of place in the places that you're playing. But, like, your off-angles are generally softer when you're playing a support, because you do still want to be further away from the opposing team. You're a granny sniper. So, like, if your team is here, you're not really looking to be threatening down this all that often. You could play like here, where, hey, it's an off angle. You could play like here. You could be going, hey, my team is here, and I'm going to throw something through here real quick. That's good. But then you drift back to playing from here. Like, you use a burst of offensive power in the form of a nade, in the form of 2 scope shots, whatever, and then you're back to playing from here type thing. That's more your speed for an Ana. What you're playing is a lot more like a McCree, like a DPS. And that's not me going, oh, doing DPS as Ana is so bad, it's wrong, etc. It's not. It's just your positioning is different from what you're playing. Like you're a hit scan DPS positioning, and you do want to play more like you are a support. position-wise. Okay. This Ana plays in silver bronze. Can you really climb out without being a bit aggressive when there's nothing to heal? Who says there's nothing to heal? And I'm not saying don't be a bit aggressive at all. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying dump your high burst aggression in small windows. So these are more aggressive power than a shot is. These are more aggressive power than 2 shots are. But they only take a little bit of time to deliver. So you can go, hey, I'm here. I can't see my team, but I can deliver one or both of my cooldowns in like a second and then be back to supporting my team. If I try to fire 3 shots, which is potentially enough to get an elimination, that takes me 2.5 seconds before I'm back here working with my team again. So I can be like quick burst of power aggressively, and then I'm back to going, let me give my team, 90 health per second, something along those lines. Like, oh, it's a little less when you factor in reloads. No, maybe that's about right. Like that's pretty solid versus if I'm over here, Reinhardts aren't used to melting when they have Anas. I'll just put it that way. Like your Reinhardt, remember, your Reinhardt can do 85 damage per swing, and if he has an Ana, he can do a lot with that. Now, he might not at this rank, but you can still keep him up, and if you keep him up, your DPS will eventually get something done. He'll get something done. Or you'll go till your next cooldown cycle and you'll go boop, and there's the next sleep dart, nade, etc. But that's okay. I'm not in any way saying that aggression is bad. Scouting Ana, she'll punish the flanker. Maybe. The nade was for Ryan, but Widow got in the way. Yeah. But that's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to adjust to that happening because your nade will be like, oh, there's an ally sort of near me, and let me just explode on their shoulder. Let me explode on their side, etc. They do that. The hitbox for nades exploding on allies is kind of generous, and that can make it a little tough to get nades past them. You have to intentionally scoot it a little further past them. Oh, is there a new experimental? Okay, I'll do a video reaction to it after this review. Playstyle is more Bap Moira-like. Not necessarily. Bap's positioning is different. The style might be a little more Bap-like, but the positioning isn't Bap's positioning either. The positioning that we're seeing really is like McCree positioning. My thinking is, I'm thinking my team isn't low, so I can take shots. I don't know if your team's low. Like, I can know if your team's low by checking up here, but based on what the screen info you're giving me is, I don't know if your team is low, because you're looking away from your team for, like, 4 shots worth of time. And maybe that's okay down here, but I can tell you as you climb, if you look away from your team at 4 shots of time, you get real uncomfortable. 4 shots worth of time is a really uncomfortable time for you to have not at least moved your crosshair to check through the wall, how is my teammate's health, etc. Are they in a situation where I need to be back healing them, etc. Like, you might take 3, 4, 5 offensive shots at somebody, but it's unlikely that after the second or third shot you didn't pivot to check on at least some members of your team, even if you then went right back to doing it. Even if you didn't fire a shot, you checked. Anyway, my team is not in danger. I can take shots, which is a little different and changes which shots to the enemy and which go to your team. Sure. What do you do as a Bronze Ana when you're constantly shooting your team, but they get eliminated anyways? You find aggressive value. What you do is you find aggressive value, and your abilities are the best way to do that. You go to off an angle and you hit a nade, or you hit a nade when your team is getting pushed that gets them and gets opponents, so your team has a chance to get them. You get sleeps from an angle, or you nano someone on your team when they're already being aggressive, when they're already in a good position. You don't go, oh, I'm trying to hold everything together with my abilities. You go, nope, we're just going to lose more slowly. If I just use my nade to save my Rhine, if I just use my nano to save my Rhine, we're just going to lose more slowly. So early in the fight, I'm going to try to go, okay, or it might be, okay, we're trying to do this, bam, and I hit my nade. Or, okay, we're doing this, and bam, and I hit my sleep dart. And that's how you unlock things. And you try to get it going pretty early in the fight so that you're not just holding them together forever. Now, you can't. Holding your team together for a long time does frequently mean that your team will put something together and win. But if they're not, your initiation tools as Ana are hitting nades and sleeps from off angles, or hitting nanos as your team is initiating anyways. Those are your initiation tools as Ana. You can also get an elimination with your weapon.
No one can hide from my sight.
If I commit 4 offensive shots in a low diamond, my main tank is eliminated already. Exactly. Lance understands. Lance understands perfectly.
Heroes never die. That's it. You're going to live.
Okay, got the Bastion, good.
You're going to be okay.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
You're not going to use the payload as cover? You're just, okay. I mean, it's your Widow, it's fine. Okay. So again, we can like heal our team from this angle, but do a quick peek up here from this angle. Or we could be like, hey, I'm healing my team from this angle, and then I do a quick peek from this angle. Your Sigma still needs heals. Your Sigma can benefit from a complete sleep dart. Or a complete heal dart. Complete heal dart is valid for your Sigma.
I'll make quick work of them. You're covered.
The enemy is here.
He's not fully healed. If he takes as much damage as he took on his last peak, he's going to get eliminated. I hope you heal him again here.
You're powered up. Get in there.
It's not amazing, but okay.
Lights out.
So the thing about nanoing the charge is this.
You're powered up. Get in there.
He's paralyzed during his charge. There's not much he can do. So you make his charge do more damage. Okay, well, if he pins someone, he was probably going to eliminate them anyways. If he pins a tank, sure, you can nano him. But you can nano him after he pinned the tank. If you nano him just for his charge, you're going to make his little pin and not connect. So his knockaway pin that's usually 50% more damage, so 75 damage out of that, 25 more damage on each target he hits. That's not really how I want him using pin anyways, so I'd really prefer to nano him either after he's pinned, after he's got a tank locked to him, or I'd prefer you to nano him once he's unwound from his charge and is swinging, because then, like, he's not going to take damage right now, right? The team has been flattened on the floor. It's also not a great damage increaser, given that there's going to be a lot of downtime. There's the charge time, there's the him going into the wall, there's the him unwinding off the wall, and then there's the him getting to a target. Like, I get it, it seems good. And if he was, like, locked with a D.Va right now, if he was taking a D.Va to a wall, sure, nano him. But I'd really prefer you nano him now. Now is when I'd prefer you nano him. When it comes to charges in general. Awesome explanation, thank you. No problem.
That makes you motley. Lights out.
Nice.
Cracked. You'll be fine. Get in.
It's fine.
You're going to be okay.
Unfortunate. Good job. Tunnel your Mercy even when she's not taking damage for the res. That's not bad at all.
Remember this.
No one can hide.
Okay. Let's see round 2.
0 to 3. Switching sides. Initiating match.
Happens as D.Va as well. I fly away to take down some Widow or flanker and turn around if it's limited. Yeah. But the thing is, your team is actually factoring in your support as D.Va less than they're factoring in your support as Ana. Like, it's still important, don't get me wrong, but it's even more weight we were expecting Ana to continue healing our Reinhardt, continue healing our D.Va, continue healing our Orisa, etc.
Friends, watch resources standing around. Glory to be won.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Okay. You probably don't fully know what the team is yet, but that's okay. Turns out Hanzo's the only thing resembling a sniper.
Barrier in place.
You don't have to heal her just cuz, but okay. Cool. Just ignore him. Just scoot right back here and take another shot. He was never that threatening to you. Like, you can call out that he's there, but you don't need to be looking at him. You're not going to wake him up with a shot. Him being asleep is more useful with how huge his health pool is, and you're not going to nade him unless your whole team is ready to punish him, because you'd much rather nade him because you already used your sleep when he goes for his take a breather. So you're not going to like nade him as part of a wake up combo. He's not someone that you try to combo wake up unless you've got like your whole team right there, and then your combo doesn't really matter. So you shouldn't even be paying this much attention to him anymore. You should be going, hey, do I need to hit another shot on my Sigma? Should I just take some, a little bit of chip damage on their Reinhardt? Should I look for their Mercy? Those are all better things for you to do. This is taking too much of your attention for a threat that's already temporarily dealt with. Like, you CC'd him for 5 seconds so your team could do stuff, but then you CC'd yourself paying a bunch of attention to him. That's not an amazing reload either, and you've had a couple of those. Like, right here in the last 20 seconds, you've had a couple of those. Okay. I don't love how much, like, you can't ignore the hog anymore, don't get me wrong, but just rotate away from him a little. Decide you're gonna play from here if you have to. Like, I don't like this because you're paying a ton of attention to this hog, like you're doing this, and yes, if you have to, so be it, but usually your solution, you should duel people that show up and aren't leaving you alone. You should duel them rather than just hope, but you do rotate yourself away from them. And in this case, that's totally viable, so you don't have to duel him so that you can continue working on your team. Like, if a Genji shows up right here, you have to fight the Genji. But as you're fighting the Genji, you're going to try to rotate towards your team. And you have to fight the Genji, and you're trying to rotate towards your team, in part so that they'll peel for you, etc., but in part because as soon as that Genji's gone, you're going to want to get back to supporting your team. Well, it's really the same way with this Roadhog. Like, yes, you don't like that this Roadhog is here, but you don't actually have to defend yourself from this Roadhog. He's not dangerous, and you do way more influence to the battle over here than you do on him. So, if you have your way, you can just go, I guess I'll go over here. I guess I'll go over here, and I'll continue to support. Not, I'm going to continue to pay a bunch of attention to him. I don't have to. He's not threatening to you unless you give him hook opportunities. And there's another reload. So I'm going to have to talk about this because these are happening. Okay. Here you are. 5 shots. Fine. I can live with those. I can live with this reload. I'm not convinced you needed it, but I can live with it. CC'd yourself. CC'd yourself for just as long as you CC'd him. It's not like a double CC sleep. You should not be CC'd during this. Why? Why are we reloading here? Like, again, I don't want you here. Now he doesn't have hook. You're even better, but I don't want you here. I want you going, hey, there's more I can do here. I can stand right here. His hook can't hit me. I can support my Sigma. I can look for offensive shots. I can peek around this pillar, or I can play from here, and I can look for offensive shots. I don't need to be standing here reloading. Same thing, 8 shots. This is not like pre-healing. This battle is happening. There are shots to be had here. Look, you could take a shot at this Mercy and put real pressure on them. Like, there's things to be doing here. One shot at the barrier and then a reload? Are there not more shots to be had? Is there not a shot at that Mercy? Is there not a shot at that Hanzo if you really want it? Like, no. No. Checking on Sleeping Hog and ignoring team. Stop CCing yourself. Exactly. Whole team ignored it, which is fine, because even if the team ignores it, it's still 5 seconds of the Hog not doing anything to your team. Like, yes, you'd like your team to potentially deal with it, but so be it. They didn't. The Hog wasn't dangerous to you, so you just go, my team didn't take advantage of my sleep dart. What else is new? You sleep dart Reinhardt's on the opposing team and he instantly gets woken up all the time. So you sleep a Hog and he gets ignored. How is that any different? Like, that's fine. It's good that we did it. And then we go, yep, I did this. My team didn't take advantage of it. What else is new? There's going to be lots of times where I hit an offensive shot or two on a Pharah and then go back to healing and my team doesn't finish the Pharah either. Like, so what? I still provided some value. I put pressure on the Pharah. I provided some value. I kept the Hog out of the fight, except then I unprovided the value by also removing myself from the fight. I don't know if she should shoot the Hanzo. Well, it depends what the Hanzo's looking at. Like, there's absolutely windows to shoot at the Hanzo. There's absolutely windows to shoot at the Hanzo, especially because she's been paying so much attention over here and she's been out of the sight line of the Hanzo for so long that she can absolutely peek and go, I'm going to take a quick shot at the Hanzo, or even a quick double tap on the Hanzo, who's, yes, probably going to get healed out of it by the Mercy, but the quick double tap on the Hanzo, because the Hanzo is looking at my team and isn't really trained to pay attention to me at this point because I've been over here for so long. You can still win with Ana with first shot advantage. Interesting.
I will keep you healed.
Like, you guys lost this fight because your DPS fell apart, and it's not really your job to be healing your DPS, so it might be like, hey, no big deal. On the other hand, I wonder how much.
You should be at peak performance level.
Tank healing, tank healing, tank healing, tank healing, tank healing. Okay, not real tank healing. Now real tank healing. This is painful to watch.
Heilstrahl aktiviert.
This is painful to watch. Would this Mercy? Probably. But would this Mercy be doing all this tank healing? Because that's all she's doing right now. Tank healing. And both of the DPS get lost. Would that be happening if Ana was healing the tanks? I don't know. I don't know. Now, some of this might require comms to clarify, but whatever, we'll do. Red team is going to lose someone by being hooked if Ana isn't doing something. What can Ana do after the sleep dart? After the sleep dart, there isn't more Ana can do to stop the Hog from hooking. Putting pressure shots on him doesn't do anything. Like, he's Hog. He has 600 health. So it might be that that's going to happen. Like, it might be that someone's going to get hooked. But we're out of solutions to someone getting hooked. So be it. Yeah, she would still be healing tank at silver. Okay, Nard. Don't make me sad. I just don't know why we forced this. Like, our team's going to melt. We're going to lose our team here. Maybe we heard the Moira coming. That's why we forced it. I'm less scared of the Moira than I am of the Hog, but okay. Now both you and your team lose. Your Pharah came back. That's cool. Yeah, pressure the Hog. That's fine. The Pharah? That last shot needed to be on your Pharah. That was good. Nope, don't need to heal her. Fine. Almost looked like an accident drop down. Okay, maybe.
You're covered.
You can pre-reload here if you want. Yeah. Can I have some frames back? Overwatch, thank you.
Nano boost is ready to deploy. Get back in the fight.
Okay, this is fine. And you look for this leap. Perfect. I'm not sure I'd have instantly gone for that nade, but okay.
You're powered up.
Has
Get in
reached
there.
the checkpoint.
Unfortunate. So winning this fight is a lot less valuable if they have the checkpoint, but it's still valuable. I wouldn't have invested the nano, but that's okay.
Take your medicine.
Still in this. You're not trying to sleep this Resing Mercy? Okay. Oh no, that was your Resing Mercy. Okay. Are we sleeping that? We're not sleeping the whole hog? I don't mind if we miss, but we should attempt to sleep that whole hog. We'd also attempt to sleep that coalescence. We would. Again, I don't mind if we miss, but try to sleep those ults that can be shut down with the sleep. I know they're harder than, say, the Rhine follow-up that she slept, which was a good sleep, but you just reach for them because you're going to have to start hitting them eventually, and that's how you get the practice. Why? There's a Rhine chasing you, I get that. He didn't react at all to your sleep dart last time. Now. It's going to knock your aim when he swings his hammer, when he hits you with his hammer, but he's still a really big target, and he's least likely to get his sleep off when he, or to get his block off when he's swinging the hammer. So this is when you'd go for your sleep. I don't know why we did that instead. Okay. You need to eat the fire strikes, you'll never be masters if you keep dodging them. There you go. Okay, where's your cover? Where's your cover? Where's the fight can happen, and where's your cover? It's not in the middle of the open like this. It could be right here. This could be good cover. You could heal from here. You could slide to here if the fight advances, or you could slide to here for offensive ability usage and then rotate back. Like, this would be a good place to play from. Right now, you're in the open.
Duplicating
I'm
road
taking
hog.
care of you. My ultimate is ready.
Okay. Are you going to advance to your next set of cover? Is that what's going to happen? It's fine. Could hit a nade right through here. Would be pretty great. Would be pretty great. Not saying you'll win, but you need to get offensive value because you're going to lose if you don't. Like, if you don't make something happen, you are going to lose this fight. And the best tools you have as Ana to make something happen are your abilities. Specifically offensively.
Get healed.
Right idea.
Get in there.
Unfortunate. Go.
The payload has reached
It's
Close it. You can't repick. Yeah. Okay. It's fine. So we're going to have to stop the bleeding. And again, to stop the bleeding, if your team is just folding, if your team is just getting crushed, you either pop a stupid amount of heals into them until they don't fold, or right as the fight starts, you take that off angle right as the fight starts, and you get the nade that makes the other team go, "Rrr," and sort of paralyzed, sort of, "Rrr," as they're pushing, and then your team breaks them. Or your team doesn't get smacked in the first couple seconds, and then they start playing better. Okay. Okay. Wait, what was that? Fine. So be it.
Heal up.
And the sleep.
Name.
Beautiful. And you see how this worked? Like, this is you going, hey, I'm on an offensive angle, I use my ability, etc. I do this, and then you'd retreat back to your defensive angle. In this case, you'll get to retreat to your defensive angle this way, because your team won enough space while you're on this offensive angle. Not this way. No, it's harder. It's harder to keep rounding and heal the hog like this. Okay, whatever. Okay.
ده هيكون مؤلم.
Heroes never die.
Again, it's like, fine. Your hog's not in danger. I'll live.
Younger.
But, like, I would much rather your Mercy be damage boosting everyone while you heal your hog, as opposed to your Mercy thinking, oh, I want to heal my half-health hog. Truth be told, neither of those needed to happen. Your hog could have just been at half health, but hey. We both know that's not going to happen.
My ultimate is ready. Watching your back.
Okay.
Nano boost is ready to
So,
deploy.
okay. So, I know you had questions about how do I get offensive value when I'm on defense like this, and I think what it comes down to is you're playing like super aggressive angles when you're on offense and you're sort of pushing ahead to do it, etc. And I think if you play the more standard Ana angles, you'll understand how to do this on defense and offense better as well. Where you can be like, hey, this is my standard angle, but I'm going to peek. I'm going to be playing from like here, and I'm going to peek here and drop my nade and explode my nade on this wall and get a bunch of them. Or I'm going to be playing from here, and I'm going to scoot up to here and shoot the quick sleep dart, etc., and then rotate back to here. Like, that's how you want to do this, and it's just going to be the timing of when they pass through that spot that controls it. So here we are. And I want you right now to be right here. This is where I want you. I want you to have been right here at this moment, and you could predict that they were coming down main, and you could have gotten your sleep right here. That's what we would have liked. Got it. I'm not good at defense Ana. All good, all good.
Nano boost is ready
It's
to
just
deploy.
getting the timing, and it's getting the timing and the positioning right. Get the timing and the positioning right, and you'll be fine.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Sure.
Ridiculous.
There you go.
It's just a scratch.
Good nano, saved lives, and then you tunneled the hog to keep him up. It worked well. And your nade, and you're done. No, okay. Sure. Now where are you going to play from? No, not there. You're not going to push up to keep shooting this. You're going to back off. You're either going to back off into here, or if you're feeling feisty, you might back off to here and go, hey, I'm going to heal them from here. It's not amazing, but like, given that you're already in such an aggressive position, we're not going to keep going in to try to find more shots. We're going to go, hey, let me check how my team is. Oh, I could be healing hog rather than having him use breather, etc. Your offensive shots don't do enough, and it exposes you to too much risk. You can expose yourself to risk to justify the ability usage, to justify the nade here, to justify the sleep on that McCree even. But you don't want to be here to justify regular shots. The reward on regular shots isn't very high. Now, that doesn't mean you can't expose yourself at all. You can be here. You can be here and go, I'm going to hit a couple regular shots. But you've got cover. You can immediately get out. Only people with long range can get back on you. When you're here, you're in a lot more danger. But your shots don't do any more damage. That sleep reflex was pretty nice. Yeah. I'm not remotely worried about it. That was totally fine on the Sleep High Noon. I do not mind that you missed it. I don't think anyone minds. Yeah, I'm with Eddie on this one. So here you are. You just won this fight. Like, this fight is won. You did what you needed to in terms of you had the previous stuff with the nano, the this. Now you're looking at this and you're like, hey, I hit this double purple, and this double purple means their Reinhardt will get eliminated. Great. Don't want you here. But then you're reacting to the high noon, which is great, and you react to the high noon with this leap. You just missed, which is fine. Which is fine. I'm not worried. I don't think there was a window for you to go faster. No, you didn't. You weren't slow at all for that. You didn't like pause. You didn't wait. You were going in the correct direction the whole time. Did that. Your team was just weak enough that they could be instantly eliminated. Not instantly, but quickly eliminated by it. Why? You have 9 shots left. You have 9 shots left, and there's a 60 health, so perfect. You can eliminate that. You can eliminate that. Why are you reloading? I'm sad. Okay, now we're going to do that. Fine. Great.
Module loaded. Prepare for duplication.
I have your back.
Yeah, don't even bother shield breaking it, Anna. Most of the time.
It off.
Okay. You can have tried to send that a little deeper, but that's okay.
My ultimate is ready. You're going to be okay.
Heroes never die.
Okay.
Take your medicine.
Up here. Join me.
أنا هاخد بالي منك.
Executing flight.
So again, you have to think about where this fight is actually going to take place. This fight isn't actually going to take place down here. This fight isn't actually going to take place out here. This fight is actually going to take place around like here-ish, this ramp corner place, etc. Which means being here is okay for sort of the pre-fight when you might get a little bit of poke in, etc. But as this fight gets closer to the point where it's actually going to be a fight, as they get closer, you want to be set up that in such a way that when they get here, you can very easily go, hey, I can tuck onto an off angle. Or, hey, I'm healing my team, but I can tuck onto an off angle. Or maybe I'm even playing from here type thing. Like, you want to be thinking about where's the fight actually going to take place, and how am I going to get an off angle to deliver some ability power for that fight without having to take a long rotation. Whereas you wouldn't want to go like up here or up here because it exposes you too much. Like, this is too aggressive, it exposes you too much. A hit scan could be like, I'm going to be here. A diva could be like, I'm going to be here. But you don't want those positions. Cool. But again, now this fight has started, sort of. This Reinhardt sort of forced the fight early, so I'm not really going to blame you. But this fight has started, and you're right here. We don't really want to be here. We wanted to like get our poke in on them early, and then be drifting back as they came in, so we could do our work, and then pop over here and deliver our abilities.
Get me.
Focus my target. Heroes never die.
Don't know about that reload. You don't have the, you're pushing this to try and help your Rhine? Okay. And you're going to nano him. Sure.
Get in there.
The nade works. The nade stops her from healing herself. It's not quite as good as hitting her with the sleep, but the nade will get 2 right now. There you go.
Watching your back. Go. I'll keep you here. I need help.
Why?
Go. I need help.
10 ammo reload. Why? You can heal hog from here. You can take offensive shots over the ledge from here. You're fine. You don't need to reload at 10 ammo. Eight ammo reload. Why? Like, there's nothing on your screen, but there's going to be something on your... Oh, look, there's something on your screen before you're done with the reload. Like...
The pain is coming. Bedtime.
Change the angle. You do not want damage to come through these guys, and you can heal as best you need to from the right. Okay.
60 seconds remaining.
Okay. So not the end of the world, but this is what I'm talking about, where you go here, and I'm totally fine with that offensive shot. And now just pivot to the hog. And you're on defense, so you do want to pivot to chaining heals into the hog. Even though it's going to feed them ult charge, you're getting the ult charge right back in the form of nano. And your hog will be able to stop the cart for a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever. So it's totally correct to heal him here. You took your offensive shot, heal your hog. Heal your hog. Excuse me? Excuse me? What fight are you preparing for? Are you preparing to win a 1v4? Is that what's happening? Goodbye, hog. I'm going to sacrifice you so that I can win a 1v4? I don't think so. I don't think so. No. This was always I'll just try and keep hog alive as long as I can, and maybe our respawns will come back. Maybe that'll buy more time off the clock. Maybe that'll get me nano. Maybe, like that's all you were going for here. Instead, you lose your hog. And that is because you hit that reload.
I have your back.
I actually don't mind that one. I'm just laughing that it's another 11 ammo reload. You are correct. I'm not thinking of what happens 5 or 10 seconds in advance. Right. And it's hard to always be thinking about that, but between fights, you sort of want to be thinking, well, where's this fight actually going to be taking place? Like, you can start with that because that's a time when you have relative downtime. Like, yes, a poke phase is happening. Yes, they're rotating, but you can be thinking, where does this rotation end? Where's our team actually going to engage them to stop their rotation? Is it going to be on the cart? Is it going to be at a choke in front of the cart? Is it going to be when we have high ground? And you want to set up around where you think the fight is. You want to set up so that you have maximum influence on where the fight is actually going to happen, or where you think it's going to happen. Okay, where's your cover? Where's your cover?
30 seconds remaining.
Are we healing hog? No, we're fighting Ryan. Okay, now are we going to heal hog? No, we're letting Mercy do it. Oh, we'll heal Reinhardt a little.
Heroes is approaching its destination.
So you do want to move away from him when you sleep him. I know it's annoying. You feel like he should be eliminated. Like, oh no, I slept him. He should be eliminated. He should never wake up. It's not going to happen in silver and bronze. So you're just going to move away from him. And this is fine, and you just move over here, and you keep doing your thing, and then when he walks up, you have a little more distance on him, and it's a little easier to continue kiting him. Or you go, hey, I'm going to pull back into the spawn room if I have to, and then maybe he can zone me out in the spawn room, but I'd rather he can zone me out in the spawn room than I'm eliminated. Like, I'll take that if I have to.
Heroes is approaching its
This is
destination.
going to hurt.
Can't walk back towards him. Can't walk back towards him. Yeah, you have. And this would not be working at all if your support wasn't... If your support was worse at heals. Like, if your support was a Lucio or a Brig, this would be very, very hard. Even if your support was a Zen, this would be very hard. Like Lucio, Brig, Zen, all of those would this match your team would be crumpling, quite frankly. It's sort of working because your support is a Mercy, and she's a Mercy that probably wants to play heal bot. Is definitely doing too much tank healing. Like there's a little bit of... We know the distribution of labor is you should be doing more tank healing. She should be doing more DPS enabling. Like, we know that's the thing. But you fighting her for tank heals doesn't necessarily mean she'll do more of this. That said, you're still missing plenty of opportunities to do more tank healing. Hog could use more healing right now. Even with the Mercy Beam on it, you could accelerate that meaningfully. Reinhardt could use a shot. Hog could have definitely used more healing over here. There were situations over here where Reinhardt could have used more healing. So, like, the two things that I want to get into for your Ana, we'll talk about healing first because we're talking about, but it's the second thing I would have you work on, is you do need to recognize that, hey, your weapon, when it comes to your ability usage, use them offensively. When it comes to your weapon, most of this should be defensive. Most of this should be healing. It's totally fine to take offensive shots, and if you get close to a 50-50 ratio on offensive and defensive shots, it's not like I'm going to be, oh my goodness, I'm in pain or anything, but you need to be very aware of what your teammate's health is, like after every second shot. Not after every like fourth shot, but after like every second shot. It can be, hey, I'm shooting at the Pharah, hey, I'm shooting at the McCree, hey, I'm challenging the Hanzo. Like, those things can happen, but you know what your teammates' health are. You turn and check on them. You turn and check on them through walls if you have to, or you unscope, and then when you unscope, they're on your screen enough for you to check on them, and you go, nope, they're still okay. I don't need to just tunnel heals into them yet, because one of the big things you bring as Ana is the ability to tunnel a stupid amount of heals. And again, you don't know how your Reinhardt likes to play. Or maybe you do. It could be that this Reinhardt wants to play a mega aggressive Reinhardt, wants to swing a lot, wants to do a lot, and he can't because his Ana is busy getting offensive shots. And, you know, you might be doing okay with your offensive shots, but he's built better for it. Like, he can do more. If he's being tunneled with Ana heals, he can do more than you can. Now, it's very possible that at this level he won't, and your offensive shots are better. And, like, don't get me wrong, there's times when your offensive shots are better otherwise, state of the battlefield. But we need to be more aware. Even if we don't always actually do it, we need more checks, and we need more checks on our tanks, but we also do need to heal our tanks more. Like, we're not healing our tanks enough, and if this was anyone but Mercy, not anyone but Mercy, it could be a Moira or a Bap. If this was a Lucio, a Brig, a Zen, this would be tragic. And you'd probably adjust your playstyle, but I don't know that. This playstyle that we saw, though, isn't even really quite the right playstyle for a Mercy, but it's working because she's also playing wrong, and it's sometimes a playstyle. This playstyle you're doing, you'd sometimes even adjust into if Mercy is intentionally fighting you for this stuff. So, like, I don't hate it, but we have to talk about this. And even with the Mercy, you have to pay more attention. You have to sort of be like, hey, I'm going to do a little bit more on this. But that's not the first thing I'd start with for you. It's not. The first thing I'd start with for you is really understanding your positioning. Really understanding your positioning. Where it's, hey, I can heal from here, and then I want to peek up and get here. Hey, I can heal from here, and then maybe I rotate for a second to get my ability power off from here. And if my team advances and gets control of this off my ability power, maybe I end up staying here. But more likely I end up then rotating back. And it just sort of continues. Like, hey, I might be going, I'm healing from here, I'm healing from here, I'm healing from here, and then I slide up here to get my abilities off. Or I'm healing, everyone's capped off, I don't have good cooldowns to use for power, so let me just scope in and take 2 offensive shots. An offensive shot, check on my team again, okay, go back to pumping heals into the Hog, etc. Like, that's what we're looking to do. That's what we want our positions to look like, and we just have to position ourselves in such a way where we have the option to go there, and we're influencing the battle where it's actually going to happen. So, like, if we're playing here and we go, oh, I'll slide up to this off angle, and the fight is actually happening right here, that doesn't work, right? Because the opponents are here and your off angle doesn't do anything. So you have to know where the battle is taking place. So instead, you might be going, I'm healing from here, or I'm healing from here. Maybe you slide up here for an off angle thing. That's how that works. Or, hey, I'm working from here, and I'm not going to get an off angle because high ground is my off angle. So I'm just going to drop nades and etc. But I might have to drop and heal my team because I'm struggling to see them when they're under me, etc. Like, that's how that works. And again, we can do the same thing offensively in the other direction. But we offensively want to be careful. If our team is like fighting right here, this is a pretty darn aggressive play to go, I'm going to walk up over here and nade you guys. Or even if my team is here, I'm going to go over here to nade you. This isn't out of the question, but this is pretty aggressive to be like, I'm just going to go right here to do this. You're much more interested in, like, if we look at this as a clock, if your team is playing here, your standard angles are like here to here type thing. And you're sort of like, but you know, your standard would maybe be like here-ish. And you're looking to go, I'll make that bigger. Like if you're playing here, you'll go over to like here to do something, and that makes you pretty happy. You don't really want to go over here to do something. That's tracer territory, and you don't really want to be here. If you've got some distance, you could be here, but that doesn't make sense because if you have distance, a lot of distance from the opponents to get here, like if the opponents are here and you get here and you're able to get enough distance here, that means this was a long walking rotation that you weren't paying attention to your team during. And if you don't have distance and you're like right here, well, that means the other team gets to crush you. So like you're mostly playing in a, I mean, maybe my first one was too thin, but let's do this again. It's not a circle. Good enough. So if this is our team, we're mostly playing in like a here to here, and then we extend it when we're looking for offensive abilities to more of like there to there. That's more how we're thinking about it. But again, there's times where you can get away with that, like again, especially on defense. When they're on defense, you can sort of get away with more. Because you see, remember when the cart was here, you were playing here, and then you going here sort of was a 90 degree from the opponents, like that, and you had distance. But the reason you're able to do that is the terrain allows for it, where you're sort of like, hey, I'm healing my team from here, or I can be here where I'm doing some offensive damage, and then it actually doesn't take much, but that's because of the terrain, because there's a curve involved, etc. So maybe the clock analogy wasn't a good one. I hope that sort of makes sense, though. That's really the first thing I would have you work on, and I hope I explained that clearly enough for you to get it. But it really is, I'm starting on a somewhat a non-angle or a pretty passive angle, and I'm going to something here to go, oh, my team is here, the enemy team is paying attention to them here, and now it's a little easier for me to get a nade in like this, for me to get a sleep dart in like this, etc. And then I go right back, or if my team is able to take space off of that, I can make this my new neutral angle and just pump heals into my team, etc. That's how we're really thinking about our Ana. But we're not going way over here like we did on second point. Okay, hope that makes sense. The last thing that we're going to talk about, okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is your reloads, because you're doing these 11 out of 12 reloads, or you're doing these 9 out of 12 reloads when there's a lot going on. Like, again, pre-healing reloads are fine, but you're doing these reloads when there's stuff on your screen to interact with that is important to interact with. So you want to be thinking about, hey, do I want to reload right now, or is there something better to do? Like, you want to be thinking, hey, I hit reloads when there isn't a shot on my screen, and I don't expect there to be a good shot on my screen. That's your default for reloads. And then in pre-healing situations, which are the poke phase, not the actual brawl or dive phase, and the actual brawl phase is when the team's front lines have sort of met and they're swinging at each other, or they're melting each other with Zarya beams or whatever, or the dive phase, same phase really, would be when the Winston is in, the Tracer has come in, etc. That's sort of the brawl phase. And during that, you just spenged ammo if there's shots to be had. You just spend ammo if there's shots to be had, period. In a more pokey phase, when people haven't been eliminated yet, maybe the other team is still rotating up the ramp, etc., you can decide that the fight isn't real yet, and you've got everyone mostly capped off, and it's better to hit a reload now than it is to be stuck with a reload later. But for those reloads, those are what we call pre-fight reloads, and we're looking to do those in like a 7, 8, 9 range on our weapon, so that we're not stuck with 3 ammo when the fight converts from the rotation or poke stage to the brawl phase. Because if we have 3 shots left in our clip, when that happens, we're going to get stuck doing a reload when someone's in a bad situation. And we'd rather do it when everyone's at like 90%, or some people are at like 90%, or maybe everyone's full, but we're sure they're going to take more damage. We'd rather do that there. So like, again, in the actual brawl phase, in the actual fight, we're going, hey, I am going to specifically hit my I'm going to use shots that I have. I'm not just going to hit a reload just because, and I'm not going to hit a reload just because someone's not on my screen for a moment. Someone not being on my screen for a moment doesn't mean that there isn't actually a shot to be had. It usually just means I'm not looking in the right place. Or I rotated behind cover. That doesn't mean I hit the reload. So I'm not saying don't ever early reload. Early reloads are absolutely necessary as Ana. You're doing some pre-healing as Ana. You're doing some, my team took 30 damage, I guess I'll put a dart into them, etc. And that has value in the poke phase and the rotation phase. Try to hit the reloads from that around, 7, 8, 9 ammo like I talked about. But in the actual fights, when it's like the cleanup stage, when it's the brawl phase, use those shots. I hope all those make sense. These topics aren't all easy. Like, I didn't give you any particularly easy topics today, and I understand that. So you're probably going to need to rewatch this video, and you may need to ask me follow-up questions in Discord, and that's fine. Feel free to ask me follow-up questions in Discord, because none of the 3 concepts I'm giving you today are particularly easy concepts. But they are things that would very much help you to work on. And the first thing I want you working on is getting a better understanding of this angle. Stop taking Kree angles, take Ana angles. Okay. If you have questions or if anyone has questions, throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself or the like, you can join my Discord in the description below. See rates, promos, things like that. And you can even in there get roles and get the watcher role. If you want to see when I go live, so you can catch me live for questions, to see what's going on with people, etc. The notifications in Discord, if you become a watcher, are faster, better than the notifications you could get on YouTube with the bell. So I highly recommend that. Okay. Let's take a look. Played Ana for 600 hours. Still can't distinctively define her philosophy. Okay. As Ana, I'm thinking if I don't make big plays, we'll lose. Okay, but your big play as Ana is I splashed a nade onto 3 people and they're purple, and now I'm going to keep my team up alive through a stupid amount of damage. And between 3 of the opponents being purple at the right time when my team is actually engaging them, and me delivering 800 healing this fight, my team is going to survive. 800 healing and 120 damage, or 120 damage. Do an HP check after 2 offensive shots. Yep. See, this wasn't a bad VOD. You were all worried. This was fine. No super fast GA to bail you out. 11 ammo reloads. Yeah. Unless you're going to troll temporal, don't do that. Oh, okay. Temporal, yes, my angles are way too big. Or if the opposing comp swapped. Yeah. More VODs. I think someone just said there's an experimental that went live, so I'll probably react to that next. It might take me a second to make the thumbnail for that, but yeah, I'll do that. We'll rewatch this video in small sections a few times. Maybe it's better if I asked a tiny bit more about the clock after I watch the video again. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, you know how to get in contact with me. Okay. The nanos aren't terrible, no. Could we make them a little bit better, like that charging Rhine nano we talked about? Sure. Are you using nano maybe a little too much to save people that are missing a bunch of health? Maybe. I'd have to look more closely, but they're not the thing that are going to give you the most improvement right now. No. Could we make them better? Of course, we can make everything better. But your nanos are not a glaring issue right now, not at all. Looks like my Valks will improve too. Yes. Sounds good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this one here. I'll set up the next VOD. I hope to see you all again in the next 5 minutes or so.